try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds, they can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression, You could try to play, but you're never gonna.
What up, Finn fans? Welcome to another episode of the Finn Posse Podcast. I am your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everybody doing this morning? Good morning. How is everybody doing? Good morning, Aqua, Jose, Bonnie. Good morning. Yeah, so you see the thumbnail. Listen, this is not me saying that I want this to happen. This is not me saying this is necessarily going to happen. I'm saying that we gotta examine all avenues here. We gotta talk about anything and everything that could happen with the upcoming season and in the future of this franchise. Jose says there is zero chance we trade Tua, in my opinion, because the only way we would is if he got hurt. And if he doesn't get hurt, he's going to ball out and his trade value will be too high. Listen, whether we trade Tua or whether we don't, I think is based solely on the performance of this year's team. It's based solely on the performance of this year's team. If the Miami Dolphins come out and win 5-6 games this year, Mike McDaniel's fired, Chris Greer's reassigned or fired, there is absolutely no way that we hire a new coach, a new GM, and they start their tenure with Tua as their quarterback. There's absolutely no possibility that will happen. They're not gonna want their name tied to Tua. They're gonna want to bring in their own guy. They're gonna want to draft their own quarterback, and you got to respect that. You got to respect it because this new coach, the new general manager, is gonna know what we all know is that even if Tua plays all 17 games this year, he's still that one hit away from ending his career. And I listen, I understand that every NFL player is only one hit away from ending their NFL career. I get that. This is a very violent sport that we love. We love this sport, and it is very violent. And at any given moment, someone's career could be over. But Tua Tagovailoa is at higher risk of that happening to him. And it's not a secret. It's not a secret. So I absolutely believe that if this season doesn't go the way that we hope and pray it does, then I absolutely see a world where the Miami Dolphins trade Tua Tagovailoa. Because if this season doesn't go the way that we hope it does, there's going to be massive changes. There's going to be massive changes. I'm not just talking about the coach and the general manager. I'm talking about players. I could foresee Bradley Chubb not being here, us letting go of Jalen Phillips. Obviously, Tyreek would be gone. I could see a world where they try to move on from Jalen Waddle, all these big contracts, all the big contracts. The team is obviously trying to move in a different direction as far as the type of personality they bring in the building. I feel like every one of these draftees is a high character, no nonsense type of player. I think every one of these players that we brought in via the draft is about their business. They're about winning. They're about football. And I think that's the type of young men we're trying to bring in the door. I think that's the kind of culture that we're trying to create here now. Jose says the schedule is damn near tailor made for a playoff appearance. Listen, and Jose, I'm not giving up on the season. And I hope we make a deep playoff run. I hope we make it to the I hope we win a Super Bowl, brother. I hope we win a Super Bowl. I hope Tua wins the Super Bowl. I hope all those grand, beautiful things happen. But you got to examine the what if. The what if Tua gets hurt again. The what if. Not, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be Tua. Our secondary is a complete mess right now. What if we do not find a fix for it? What if we do not find a fix for it? What if we, what if we have to end up trading Tyreek Hill because he goes on another rampage? What if one of our offensive linemen get hurt and Liam Eichenberg's has to play 15 games for us? A lot of different things can happen to make this season not go according to plan. It doesn't have to be a Tua injury per se. I mean, obviously Tua, if he gets hurt, that's the biggest thing. That's the hardest thing for us to overcome easily. You've seen what this team looks like. And for all the Tua criticizers out there, we've seen what this team looks like without Tua on the field, and it was absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. So for all of you that question and make snide remarks about Tua's importance to this team, like, come on. How do you even question it after seeing the before and after product last year? How do you even question it? It was night and day. When Tua was out of the game, when Tua wasn't starting, we struggled to get first downs. Not score points, get first downs. Tua comes back, we're scoring 25 points a game. And that was a disappointment. We felt like we were leaving stuff on the field. At 25 points a game, we still felt like we weren't running at top notch, top gear. So yeah, I mean, you gotta take a look at both sides. You gotta examine both sides. And this is the time of year to do it. I mean, you don't do it when we're in the middle of training camp. I mean, there's no sense of that. We do it now because there's not a whole lot to talk about. So you examine all the possibilities that what could happen this season. Absolutely, Jose. This team was ugly without Tua. Morning Shake. Shout out to Shake. He had me on his show last night. Always a pleasure to talk football with Shake. I really super appreciate it. Thanks a lot again. Had a great time. Make sure you guys check out that episode. I want to say it was called In the Blender, right? Was that what Shake got? So many different things going on, brother. You got so many different shows and cool programs over there. But yeah, now you would think that what would the process of trading Tua Tagovailoa look like? I mean, obviously he signed that huge deal, right? He signed that huge deal last offseason. Hold on one second. Shit. Hold on. I'm gonna play for song for you guys too for a second. Boom. Let's check this out real quick. Hopefully I don't get copyright.
We've carried it all. Good, but not great. Close, but still so far away. Confident, but never satisfied.
That's your boy Zach Thomas too. If you didn't get to see it on screen or.
But when you look inward, dig deeper than ever before. You learn that sometimes the tide doesn't turn on its own. You have to turn it. We're done looking back. Now we charge forward. Forged by perfection, sharpened by adversity, bonded by purpose. Because no spirit can outlast the one that's building beneath the surface.
I thought that was a pretty dope little video. Thought that was a pretty dope little video. So yeah, like I said, the Miami Dolphins are entering a huge 2025 season. This season's gonna dictate the future for Tua and Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer, hopefully. Tua signed that massive contract last offseason, which I think we're all in agreement that they should have let last year play out. Listen, Tua was sitting out of practice a little bit, and they panicked. And they ended up giving him the bag. Gave him 4 years, $212 million. $212 million. But like I said, if Mike McDaniel's replaced, if Chris Greer's replaced, there's no way that the next regime is going to come in and be all right with Tua as the quarterback. They're not going to want someone else's sloppy seconds. They're just not. Good, get him and his followers gone. Laugh out loud. I feel like if this season doesn't end in a playoff berth, that major changes are coming. Major changes will be coming, and I just feel like those three guys got to be replaced. They got to be replaced. Now, what's a market for Tua Tagovailoa look like? Is there a market? Is there someone that'd be willing to trade for a often injured quarterback with a massive contract? I think there will be a market. I think there will be someone that'll, people are always looking for a quarterback. People are always looking for a quarterback. You need a quarterback to win in this league. Again, I think if Tua's healthy, he can win. But again, if the coaching staff here is replaced, there's no way that they don't move on from Tua. Does someone else want Tua? I think someone else will. I don't think there's going to be maybe a massive massive group of teams that want Tua, but I feel like there'll be 2 or 3 teams that are willing to take a chance on Tua. It was reported that at one time that if the Miami Dolphins didn't want Tua, that one NFL head coach had said they would gladly take Tua. And that was coming from one NFL head coach. That was reported by Omar Kelly a while ago. Well, like I said, there's always a need for NFL quarterbacks, specifically ones that have had success like Tua has. Tua's had success in the NFL. And you might say that, well, he's never won a playoff game. He struggles in cold weather. There's a lot of things you could say about Tua that I feel are more like team accomplishments. He gets blamed for a lot of things that are team based. You know what I mean? But Tua's done a lot. Tua's ran the number one offense in all of football. Tua, and back in 2020, 21, he won a lot of games with a ghost surrounding cast. Like they didn't have very good players back then, and he was out there winning games. Jose says every team that plays in a dome needs to pick that phone up if he's on the market. Listen, I feel like the Saints would be a great spot. A great spot. Kellen Moore over there. Obviously, he worked with Jalen Hurts, who Jalen Hurts is limited as a quarterback. He's a great athlete. Jalen Hurts is a great athlete, but as far as throwing the ball, he's limited. Tua Tagovailoa is a better passer of the football than Jalen Hurts. And look, he went out and won a Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts. So, I think there will be teams, and I think there will be a market for Tua Tagovailoa. He's a former top 5 pick who has led his team to 11-6 record in his one fully healthy season, which honestly, they should have won 13, 14 games that year, but the rest of the team couldn't stay healthy. He's been consistently one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league and has been top 5 in passing yards per game for the last 3 seasons. So there's things to like about Tua. There's positive aspects to Tua's game. What's a potential trade return look like for Tua Tagovailoa? What should we get? What should we expect to get in a trade for Tua? Because you see some of these quarterbacks that get traded, especially later in their career. Look at the Russell Wilson trade. He got an absolute haul, and he was at the tail end of his career. Tua Tagovailoa will only be 28 years old. Tua still have his best football out of him, honestly, in my opinion. Tua should still have his best football out of him. It's not a Russell Wilson situation. The Dolphins likely want to get more for the 5-year starting quarterback than the 2025 second round pick, selection number 52, the Seattle Seahawks got from the Pittsburgh Steelers for Pro Bowl receiver DK Metcalf. I don't know what that really has to do anything. For a potential trade, it would be for the 2026 offseason. And by then, Tua will be not 28 years old. I want to take a look at 4 trades that, have happened for quarterbacks, but you got to take into account the injury concerns with Tua. So that alters what you would possibly get for Tua. If Tua gets hurt again this year, that's gonna drag that number way down. But if Tua can stay healthy again this year, that draws that number up. If Tua can have a successful season while staying healthy, that could drive his price tag way up. But let's take a look at some recent trades for quarterbacks. So the Detroit Lions sent Matthew Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams for the Rams 2022's first round and the 2023 first round, a third round in 2021, and quarterback Jared Goff. The second year into Goff's now new extension, he was traded. The Lions won that trade. Jared Goff has played really good for the Detroit Lions. Plus, they got 2 firsts and a third. That's a haul. Matthew Stafford was old by the time he got traded there. What was he, 32, 33 years old when he was traded? Now, is Tua on the same wavelength as Matthew Stafford? No, Matthew Stafford is a very talented quarterback. Stafford is a very talented thrower of the football. I think Tua's as accurate as Stafford, but Stafford's got a rocket. So I mean, you're not going to get anywhere near that for Tua Tagovailoa. Nowhere near that. The New York Jets set a second round and a first round swap for Aaron Rodgers, and that was a 1 or 2 year rental for Aaron Rodgers. Now Aaron Rodgers is considered one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. I think that they realized that Aaron Rodgers was on a decline, and they knew that it could be a 1 year rental, so the asking price wasn't going to be huge. I could see the Miami Dolphins possibly getting a trade along those lines. I could see the Miami Dolphins getting a second round pick and a swap of first round picks with whatever team they trade to. I think that's a realistic possibility. You got the Cleveland Browns sent 3 first round picks, 2 thirds, and a fourth for Deshaun Watson, possibly the worst trade in NFL history. Possibly the worst trade in NFL history. But Deshaun Watson was a superstar quarterback at the time, was still super young. So, again, we're getting nothing close to that. And then you got the Denver Broncos sent 2 first rounders, 2 seconds, and Drew Lock, Noah Fant, and Shelby Harris for Russell Wilson. God, man, could we find a trade partner like that? Could we find a full trade partner like that? The Denver Broncos sent 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a quarterback, a tight end, and Shelby Harris for Russell Wilson after Russell Wilson had already shown he was on a major decline. Russell Wilson had already shown that he was cooked. And they sent 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and Drew Lock and Noah Fant. I mean, throw out Drew Lock and Shelby Harris. Noah Fant was a promising tight end. Can we get someone that's stupid enough to do that for us? If we could get 2 firsts and 2 seconds for Tua, and it's never going to happen, but if we could, oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. How great would that be? Bonnie says, thank God we never traded for Watson. You're absolutely right about that, Bonnie. Darian says, if he has a good year and everybody's going to say, keep him, you need to trade him now. You don't trade him now. You don't trade him right now. You hope that he stays healthy this year. You hope we obviously win games. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you want us to win. You want us to win. What up, Miller? What up? Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl. Yeah, but you don't get. Listen, I'm not giving draft capital for what you did in the past. Russell Wilson was years and years and years past when he won a Super Bowl. Not to mention that Super Bowl was won on the backs of the Legion of Boom. You know what I mean? Jose, you got to look at it from a business. You got to look at it from a business position. You're looking at it as a fan right now, Jose. If we bring in a new general manager, a new head coach, do you think that they're really gonna? Do you really think that they're gonna wanna move forward with Tua as their quarterback? You know what I mean? Again, this isn't what I think we should do. This isn't me thinking that Tua is a bad quarterback. It's not me. It's none of that. I'm telling you what I think a new general manager and a new head coach, if this season goes awry, if this season does not go the way that we hope it does, and we bring in a new head coach and we bring in a new general manager, do you think that they're really going to want to have their tenure with the Miami Dolphins measured by a quarterback that struggles to stay on the field? Do you really believe that? Honestly. Or do you think that coach and that general manager is going to want to go and get the guy that they want? Yeah, I think Miami accepts a trade for a second rounder. I think the Miami Dolphins would accept a second rounder if they're taking that whole contract off the book, off their hands. I think they're taking that. And I only think this is a possibility if we finish with a losing record, maybe a top 10 draft pick. Maybe if we miss the playoffs, who knows? Who knows what Stephen Ross is going to say? Who knows what Stephen Ross is going to do? Firing the current regime and Ross being nearly 90, I can't see the reset button being used. At some point, it's got to be reused, right? If we move back, I think this team has the capabilities of making the playoffs. I think they do. Obviously, there's a gaping hole in the secondary. Gaping. And does everybody else heard the story about why there's such a rift between Mike McDaniel and Jalen Ramsey? As people have heard about it? Irving, that's exactly. Good morning, Irving. That's exactly what I mean. Is a to a trade imminent if things go badly this year? Absolutely. Absolutely, Jose. Of course, Stephen Ross wants to win now. He's been wanting to win, but he also know what is staying the course on us. Yes, Reason said McDaniels was calling out Ramsey publicly. It wasn't even publicly. It was Ramsey didn't like the fact that uh, he was supposed to be a team leader, yet Mike McDaniel would call him out for making bad plays in front of the team, and which is absolutely a freaking joke. That's an absolute freaking joke. Like, bro, are you serious? That's your issue. You can't be criticized. You're too high and mighty that your game can't be criticized. Your game can't be criticized. Like, what the hell is going on here? That's basically you saying that you can't be coached. You can't be coached. Don't coach me. Don't say nothing to me. Don't pinpoint nothing. Don't try to make me better. I'm Jalen Ramsey. I'm the best. That's an absolute joke. That's an absolute joke. And if I was another team and I heard that, how do you possibly want him? How do you want him? I mean, I guess Sean McVay has worked with him and got a good relationship with him, I guess. But man, you can't be told nothing. You can't be like, hey, Jalen, listen, you missed this assignment here. What happened? You can't say that to him. You can't say that to him. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Are you serious, Jose? He can't. He got to pull him aside and say, "Hey, you missed the you missed this. You missed this assignment." Jose, he's supposed to call each individual player to the side and tell them what they did wrong. That's what team meetings are, positional meetings are for. That's what going over the film's for, is to see where you messed up. Talking about how you can fix it and making adjustments. You know what I mean? Like that's an absolute joke. I can't believe you think Mike McDaniel was wrong for that. I can't believe you think Mike McDaniel was wrong for that. I can't believe you think that at all. I don't blame Mike McDaniel for calling out Jalen Ramsey for missing assignments and team meetings. What? A dog? He sounds like a puppy to me. That don't sound like a dog. That sounds like a puppy. They got his little feelings hurt. Don't sound like no dog to me. Could you imagine Ray Lewis being, I want to be traded. You said I did something wrong. Like, come on, that's a joke. That is an absolute joke. I can't be told that I did something wrong in front of people. That's crazy. That's crazy. Jalen, what were you doing on this play? Where were you? How dare you? How dare you? And that's what it is, Bonnie. Mike McDaniel, from what I understand, was doing it showing, listen, I'm not just calling you out. I'm calling the star player out too. I'm not just picking on you. Jalen Ramsey can get it too. You know what I mean? If Jalen Ramsey doesn't make a play or messes up on a play, I'm doing the same thing to Jalen. He was trying to show the team that he wasn't biased towards the star players. Bro, that's not Jose. That's not publicly. In front of your team is not publicly. In the public is if he were to go to the media and say, out of the blue, yeah, Jalen lost us the game. Jalen missed in the end of the game press conference. Jalen missed a lot of assignments out there, and it really cost the defense. No, that's calling you out in public. Addressing a play in your positional meetings, in your defensive meetings, that's not calling you out in public. That's not calling you out in public. Jose, I can't believe you're co-signing that. I can't believe you're co-signing that. That's not calling you out in public. Your team is your brothers. That's your family. That's your brothers. That's who you go to war with. These ain't just randoms. It's not just randoms. And you're absolutely right. It is a generational thing. I see it. I see it. I tell my kids all the time, like, you guys are soft. You guys are soft. Exactly, Shake. Calling you out in public is at a press conference. Doing it to people that aren't a part of your family. Your team is your family. How are you supposed to coach him? If he does something wrong on the field, while they're on the practice field, are they say is he supposed to say, "Hey, Jalen, can we go inside and talk in the office for a second? I gotta speak with you." He's supposed to walk all the way back to his office and say, "Hey, Jalen, you were doing this wrong. Can we go back out and try it this way?" Jose, if he's the best player on the team, he shouldn't be making them stupid ass mistakes. In my opinion. And we pay you a lot of money. We pay you a lot of money, right? We pay you a lot of money to be able to handle criticism. We pay you a lot of money. You can't handle a little criticism. Why? So you can alienate the whole rest of the team, Jose? I think if Jalen Ramsey makes a bad play, he should be called out just the same as if Storm Duck makes a bad play. Why should we have to treat him like a diva? Why should we have to treat him like a pretty princess? Like, come on, bro. Come on. Jalen, you're a pretty princess. You're perfect in every way. We got to give him motivational speaks every day. Jalen, you are great. You're worth every penny, Jalen. Calling him out first isn't right. Goddamn right, I'm starting with my star players. Why are you out there? Why are we paying you this amount of money for you to make boneheaded mistakes? I'm calling them out first and foremost. Absolutely. I'm calling them out first. If my star corner who's making the big dollars is out there making stupid mistakes, I'm calling you out first. You're supposed to lead by example. I know. He's been told his whole life that he's the greatest. I know. I know. Listen, I watched Jalen make huge mistakes. I watched Jalen. I watched a third down running back for the Buffalo Bills, a third string running back, smoke Jalen for a touchdown. Smoke Jalen for a touchdown in a game that we could have won. Third string running back, smoke Jalen, our top corner. Smoke him. What about Jalen when he got cooked in that Super Bowl against the Bengals? Like, come on. You make enough money that you can't take a little criticism. Like, come on. Yeah, I mean, Vic Fangio definitely. Listen, I think that was some sucker shit. How the whole thing went down. To be honest, Vic Fangio is a good coach. He's that old school coach, and it's hard to get a lot of the young players on board with those older coaches. You know what I mean? Those old school coaches. Vic Fangio definitely knows defense. I think it was bullshit that there was no tampering charge there, but you know, the Philadelphia Eagles do things the right way. They do. They build their team the correct way. They I hate their head coach. I hate him. Nick Sirianni, I can't stand him. I think he's a schmuck. But that franchise does things the right way. They got a great general manager and they build the team the correct way. I can't. I wouldn't say they was. He didn't have an opportunity. He was here for a cup of coffee. You know what I mean? It's hard, Anthony, to coach these kids coming out of college now because these kids out coming out of college now are already. A lot of them are already millionaires. It's hard to coach them. I mean, I think you got to have a good balance between the type of coach that Mike McDaniel is, where you're a player friendly coach, but you cannot allow certain things to happen. You can't allow for teams to be late, players to be late to meetings. If players are continuously late or continuously doing stuff that undermines you, then you gotta lay down the law no matter the ramifications, no matter how these players are gonna feel. Like I think that you treat them good. You try to be friendly with them. You try to be a role model to them. You can't be hard on them like them guys were back in the day though. It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. In certain circumstances, you know, you get these young players in here that respect the history of the NFL, respect the game. You got to draft correct too. It can't just be about talent. Maybe this guy's a little bit more talented than the next, but the next guy, you know, he's a respectful and he's got a good head on his shoulders. You can't just draft for talent. You got to draft for what kind of person they are. Yeah, I mean, Arch is already. I'm sure. I'm sure Arch's uncles have taken care of that whole family. I'm sure. I'm sure he's woken. He's grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. You know what I mean? Money's not new to him. Does it sound better now? Is it better now? Yeah, I don't know why every once in a while it starts going crazy. I have to unplug and plug it back in. I don't understand it. I don't know what the problem is. Sorry about that though. But yeah, I mean it's a fine line of how you coach these players now. It's definitely a different type of generation. This new generation. I tell my kids all the time, I was like, listen, you better do great in school because you don't like to be bossed around. You get mad emotional, you get mad in your feelings if anybody tells you to do anything. You don't like to have a boss. So you better do good in school so you can be your own boss. And God forbid if my mom used to make me do some real chores. My kids, the kids of this generation, you tell them to do anything, it's like, oh my God. And then they try to do it with their phone in their hand. This generation is crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's different. It's definitely different. They're definitely a lot softer than 80s, 70s, 60s. You know what I mean? We're not made from the same material. We're not made from the same material. These kids grew up on YouTube, TikTok, with devices. You know what I mean? Like they're living their lives through a screen. Absolutely. My kids, I told my son yesterday, I was like, I barely see you anymore without, like, you walk through the hallways. You go from playing your game on your computer to walking down the hall. To move to a different room or to go get a drink, you gotta turn on another device, walk with that device in your hand, and then you got the earring in. So I never know when you're talking to me, you're talking to somebody else. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, the generation is different. The generation is different. How differently do you feel about this team if Jalen Ramsey's not in his feelings and he's on board to come back? How differently do you feel about this team? Because now we're just looking for a number 2 corner. We don't need a number 1. We need number 2. I think this team has great potential this year, except for that secondary. But if Jalen Ramsey was on board to come back, I'd feel really good about this team. I'd be like, all right, let's trade a 3rd rounder for Jair Alexander. Let's trade a 4th rounder for Jair. Let him be corner 2. I like our linebackers. I like the possibility of our pass rush. I like our defensive line. I think our safeties are an upgrade, even though they may not be as talented overall as Javon Howland and Jordan Poyer once was. I think they're going to try. They're going to give more effort than those guys last year. So I think they're going to be better. I like this defense except for the cornerback room. And then the offense, listen, we addressed the offensive line. That should be better. We should be able to run the ball, which is going to open up the passing game. If Tua can stay healthy, we could have a top 5 offense again. I think we could be really good this year. Remember when you had to go to the corner and talk on a payphone or use a pager when there's no cell phones? Bro, I didn't even mess with the pagers. Like, I had the straight payphone. I remember doing 1-800-collect. Bob had a baby pizza boy. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Who do you not want in Philly? For example, story just came out that LT would talk about how he couldn't wait to hit crack pipe after game. Yeah, them mofos was smoking crack and getting 20 sacks a season. You know what I mean? Glenn 100, I love playing football without pads. I learned it's all about wrapping up those legs. You can drop anyone. Listen, when I was in middle school, We used to go to school in the morning. We'd play football on the basketball courts. On the basketball courts, tackle, cement ground. We was playing on the basketball courts, tackle. When I was in middle school, playing tackle football on cement. Big C joking around. I think all these superstar players taking away the money would rather play in the CFL because the media is not on top of them. They can go about their daily lives. You know, some of them like. Well, Ramsey's not coming to Philly because Ramsey called out Vic Fangio when Vic Fangio left. Headed to South America. That's cool, Joe. That's cool. Have a good trip. Nowadays, he'd be out the NFL no matter how many sacks. Yeah. I mean, smoking that crack. I don't know how long crack stays in your system. I don't even know if they could catch him for that. I don't know the testing on that. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, you never see kids out playing basketball or football. Yeah, I used to be outside playing hide and seek, playing basketball, football, all types of games. You know, baseball, using the sewer as home plate. You know what I mean? My kids, what? My kids don't listen. They didn't even play with dolls and toys like that. They didn't play with action figures. Like, I bought my kids some action figures and some dolls, and once in a great while I'd see them. But it's always been a tablet or phone or TV. It's always. Big C, if Tua gets traded, what team would likely trade for him in your opinion? The Rams, the Saints, the Lions, if they hadn't signed Jared to that extension? I think the Raiders could be a possibility. You listen, Tom Brady made his living on being accurate, short passes. I think Tom Brady respects Tua's game. I could see the Saints. I could see oh geez, who? Possibly the Colts. Colts are a dome team. The Vikings, if the kid over there doesn't pan out. Oh, you could definitely work with Sean McVay. Sean McVay comes from that same coaching tree that Mike McDaniel came from. I used to climb up high trees 30 feet and jump in the lakes until I realized I was swimming with gators 10 feet away from me. Yeah, I remember going to visit my family down in Florida, and we went to some river, lake, and they were like, yeah, go swimming. And they were like, just keep your eyes open for the gators. I was like, what? I was like, I will not be going in the gators and the water moccasins. I was like, fuck that. I ain't going in there. It ain't worth it. And the water looked dirty. Can we stop with the Tua trade not using this year for sure? Listen, Glenn, there's not a whole. Listen, we can't talk about the same thing all the time. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's getting traded this year. Absolutely not. There's zero chance he gets traded this year. But I got to create content. There's not a whole lot to talk about. You got to examine what if this season goes wrong. You know what I mean? Adults telling kids to get in the water with animals like that. Yeah, man. I mean, that's crazy, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. Big C, I hate to circle back to the Ramsey talk, but could you see a possibility where he is mad because he is getting called out, but he doesn't call out Tua in the same way? Is that a possibility? I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I'm sure that could be a possibility. I'm sure that could be a possibility. Bonnie, if the season goes right, obviously, Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer keep their jobs. Tua keeps his job. I'm hoping that the season goes right, Bonnie. I am. I hope to God that's why I've been so against trading Tyreek, and I don't want to see a losing season. Not at all. Not at all. You throw pieces of hot dog in the water and see what's really hiding in the lake. I didn't think about that, Jose. That's smart. I mean, yeah. I think that he doesn't call out to a who knows? Who knows? CB83, where you been at, brother? Like, geez, where have you been at, brother? That is my homie, the big homie. But yeah, I don't. Again, I got to come up with. Oh, we just talking a little Miami Dolphins football. How'd you feel about the draft there, CB83? Bonnie, I'm trying to get CB83 to do a show with me on a weekly basis, 1 day a week. 1 day a week. That's all I ask. He can't make time for me 1 day a week.
Yo, CB. I mean, Big C. I
What
asked.
up? What up?
I. I. Hey, CB. What up? It's been a while.
Yo, what's good? Y'all can hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, what's good with y'all boys, man? Hey, Tony, what's good? Hey, my dog Big C in here doing work. I see you, my boy. What's going on with ya?
Just talking about this draft. I love the draft. How you feel about it?
I rock with the draft, man. I mean, the Dolphins got some pieces they needed, bro. Beefed up the defensive line, beefed up the offensive line. As a
CB. Do
fan
you think we
base,
reached? Do you agree with people? Some of our fan base that we reached for Kenneth Grant, or you think we drafted him, or he was supposed to get drafted because if we traded down, we wouldn't have got him.
I think we drafted him where we were supposed to get him. I think if he would have got picked up by a couple teams behind us. So, I mean, if that was their target all along, and that's what Weaver needs in the middle of his defense, then I'm all for it, bro. If he and I'm sure Weaver probably felt like, man, I need to get beefier up front just because we aren't getting enough push, like we aren't
Yeah.
physical enough up front.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The comparisons I've had for him, CB. Uh, I see he's a more athletic version of Vince Wilfork and Tim Bowens. Do you see that in him? a little bit, Kenneth Grant?
Yeah, I mean, I can see the more athletic, more agile, like Vince. Vince is a big dude. Grant's a big dude, so I can see that. I think he's probably a more powerful, maybe a little less athletic Via Vea. So I kind of see that
You,
in
oh,
him.
you don't think he's super athletic?
No, I think he's athletic. I think he's a tremendous athlete. I just feel like Vita Vea maybe he's a little bit more agile than Kenneth Grant because he has less size than him.
Yeah,
But
people
but I
forget Kenneth Grant. Kenneth Grant is like 6'4" and a
yeah
half or
he's
something.
yeah like straight line speed. He's fast. I think he's going to give defenses a lot of issues. I mean, not defenses, but offensive lines a lot of issues. So I'm excited about the picks, man. Honestly, I didn't expect much going into the draft. It's just like grab some starters, like grab guys who can contribute to the team right away. We really don't have time to like develop a lot of players. Like we don't have time to redshirt players, right? We need
Mhm.
guys to come in and play right away. I understand development is part of it, but I still want you to be able to give some of those guys some meaningful reps and get some meaningful time this year because we need them to come in and contribute right away, especially with losing Calais Campbell, um, Eichenberg not being good enough for us. Like we need those guys to play right away.
Yeah, I think Jonah gets placed in between. In my honest opinion, I think Jonah gets placed in between AJ and uh, what's his name?
AJ and Brewer.
Brewer instead of Brewer and Patrick, because Patrick needs a veteran next to him. So I think that they put James Daniels at left guard and put Jonah at right. To be
Yeah, I think
honest,
I think that would be ideal situation. If I were the offensive line coach, that's how I do it. I'd have Austin at right. I'd have Jonah at right guard. Brewer there in the center. That way you have Brewer and Jackson helping Jonah, and then you have um, James Daniels, who's an experienced a veteran guard, helping a Patrick Paul over there. So that's the ideal setup for me, and that's how I would run it and see how it plays out.
would it be a bad idea to put Jonah next to Patrick, in between Patrick and Aaron? In your opinion?
I don't think it's a bad idea. I just like having more experienced guys with the younger guys because they have an understanding of what they see, and they see the game a lot differently because they've seen all the stuff that defenses can do. So they can kind of give them the heads up. And that's what you got to understand about offensive line. The communication is just really important. Like those guys got to be locked in. They got to understand what each other are doing, and they got to be able to call out stuff when things happen that's unexpected. Like if they get a stunt or something that comes their way and it's not expected, they got to be able to pass it off and get and still be able to manage it. That's the hard part about being an offensive lineman is the movement and the blitzes and things that come along with it. But experienced guys can help the younger guys by pointing that stuff out before it happens.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I asked you in the chat, Bixie, with I, it disappeared, but I said in the chat with oh, I forgot what I said. It has something to do with the defensive line, and since we don't really have a ton of like starter quality defensive linemen, does this mean Grant starts day one? Because we really don't have a guy who can start day one. Because
Grant absolutely starts day one. Absolutely,
because
without question.
I like Benito Jones, but he's more of a rotational guy, and both Biggers and who's the other defensive tackle we drafted after Kenneth
Jordan
Grant.
Phillips. Jordan
Those
Phillips.
those guys are rotational guys. I like Zeke Biggers, but he needs a little bit of development.
Yeah,
That's a
he's
underrated
more
guy.
of your true nose tackle. I think Jordan Phillips can actually be the best player of all three of them. Honestly, he's only
Why
20
do you
years
say that?
old. He's only 20 years old. He's going to get bigger, faster, stronger. He loves the game of football. He's a student.
He's only six
He,
one.
yeah. Listen, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna get
Hey,
bigger, faster, stronger.
Jordan Phillips is going to be a monster. My boy here in Orlando actually trained Jordan Phillips at the defensive line position. And I think he's from my area. He's going to be a dog. But Big C, I
He
wanted
went
to
to
get
Jones
some of
High
your
School.
thoughts
He
on the
went to Jones.
schedule.
Yeah,
What did
Jordan
you?
went to Jones.
Yeah, he went to Jones High School. So he's from the crib here in Orlando. Um, so my boy actually trained him. So it's going to be cool to see him get out there and perform and make plays for us. But Big C, I did want to get your thoughts on the schedule, man. What's your thoughts?
I think the schedule is pretty favorable for us. Listen, if we can figure out the cornerbacks, I don't see a reason why we can't start this season 6-2, 7-1. Obviously, you got that Thursday night game against Buffalo. That's going to tell us a lot about where we're at. I could see us winning that game too. Honestly, I think it all
I
depends
don't
on
see
what we
it.
do with the. It all depends on what we do at the cornerback position. I really wish that somehow they could figure something out with Jalen. I know it's not going to happen, but I think our offense is set up to get back to being a top 10 offense. We were very good against the run last year. I think we only improve upon that with the drafting of Grant and the other defensive tackles we brought in. I like our linebackers. I think our safeties are going to play better than the safeties that we had last year, even though they're less experienced and probably less talented overall. But
Is
I,
Jason
th-
Marshall day one for you guys, or is he a developmental guy?
I think any corner you take past round one, round two is a developmental guy. I don't think you can draft a fifth round, a corner
Yeah.
in the fifth round and have him start automatic.
I don't know. I mean, you do find some hidden gems. Like we found Cater, who's an undrafted guy. Like you just honestly, you never know with players until you like
And
get them
people
out.
forget.
That
Uh,
I
see.
wasn't done, Tony. I wasn't
Oh,
done.
sorry.
So yeah, like I mean, you do find some gems at DB. Like we found some gems. We found Nick Needham. We found Cater. Those are some guys that were undrafted, drafted late, and still made plays early on in their career. Um, I think it's going to be like important to get those guys the reps and the opportunities so we can see where they are. Like we don't know what they're going to end up being until we get them out there. But the Miami Dolphins have had like really good success at the DB position, finding some guys who are later drafted guys or undrafted guys. So maybe something works out in our favor in terms of that this year, and we end up finding a guy like Cater came out of Texas A&M Commerce, like came out of a super small
Yeah,
school, undrafted, and came in, started right away, and never left the field. Like maybe we find somebody like that in our secondary to really help, and that really could be the difference. Like honestly, Big C, you said I'd like to work something out with Jalen, but I understand Jalen might be to the point of no return. Honestly, I would try to trade him for a player
Young
and
player.
I would try to trade him for a corner. Let's go corner for a corner.
yeah.
Instead of doing a draft pick, that would be my ideal situation. But I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But maybe we have some luck with the undrafted guys or one of the guys who were drafted later in the draft.
Yeah, and I'm gonna bring up a guy that people forget where he was drafted. Tyreek Woolen from Seattle was drafted in the 6th round, and he became an All-Pro. I understand that's a rare case, like a Pro Bowler, All-Pro corner and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and he only became that because he got the opportunity to get out there and play.
Yeah.
And that's my thing with the Miami Dolphins. You got to give these guys some opportunity to go out there and play. Preseason, these guys should get a ton of reps. Like they should be playing the
Absolutely.
entire game. We want to see them play. We want to see how they perform. That's got to be a must.
Would you
I,
guys trade Jalen for Tyreek Woolen, CB, or Seattle wouldn't do that?
Seattle's not doing that, bro. What are we talking about?
No, no,
No, they're
I'm just asking a player like that, a young corner like that, that needs a change of scenery.
yeah. I don't think they do that. I don't know who's out there. Honestly, I don't know who's available, but I'd be open to trade Traylon Jaden for anything that has played in the NFL. Any player that's played meaningful reps in the NFL and has played at a solid level, I'm willing to trade them, especially if they're a starting caliber corner. Shit, make the trade. I'm willing to make the trade. It works. It works for us. We need a guy. So
We're looking
I,
at Jaden Watson from Kansas City, CB. Watson,
I
the
don't
the
know.
corner
I,
for
I haven't I haven't seen him play, but if he's solid, I'm taking it.
he's a they're starting slot corner. They're starting boundary corner on the other side of McDuffie.
I do think we need another boundary corner. So if it was my team, I would be looking to put Cater in the nickel in the slot, and I would be looking to get another boundary corner.
Okay,
That's my thoughts on it.
okay.
Yeah. But Big C, man, I just wanted to
you,
come
you
up and
said
show
you
some
said
love, bro.
you said yeah, I appreciate you. You said you'd put, and I took Anthony off for a minute, so we could talk for a second.
Bro, Anthony was
You
going
said you'd
crazy,
keep,
bro.
yeah, you keep Cater. I thought it was the Anthony show. uh, you'd keep Cater at the slot, right? Because
Yeah, I keep
obviously he
Cater in the
struggled
slot.
at.
Yeah. Yeah. That's honestly, I think that's Cater's best position for me is in the slot. He can play the
Absolutely.
boundary, but he just doesn't have the size to me to go up and get the 50-50s. Bro, you got to be a dog out there at that. If you're going to be short and be a smaller guy, you got to be an absolute monster on the boundary. And I don't think he's an absolute monster. I think he's better suited in the slot, nickel, and being one of those guys.
Well, you
Um,
do got Jalen Watson from the Kansas City Chiefs that could be available. Kansas City has shown that they don't like to give those second contracts to their young corners, and he's 6'2". He's been a starter for them. Um, I'd like us to see maybe go grab him. But what's your opinion on like maybe a Jair Alexander? I know he's been hurt the last couple years, but
bro,
I think if healthy,
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I think if he's healthy, I would almost say he's an upgrade over Ramsey.
Yeah, I think so too. And honestly, the health is, health permitting is going to be the caveat to everything. But I do think the Miami Dolphins need to take a flyer on a veteran guy that's experienced because with Jalen leaving that room, you do leave a major void in terms of like leadership. And I don't know if Jalen was a great leader, but I know he's experienced and a voice out there in the field.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them bring in maybe one or two guys who are experienced and who can kind of lead and help and teach the younger guys because Cam Smith isn't going to be a leader in that room.
No.
You don't even really want him in that role. Like you want him learning from somebody else. So I like to see the Miami Dolphins get some experience in. And I'm not saying get an experienced guy in here to take reps from the younger guys. Hey, maybe you bring him in with the understanding that hey, we don't really need you to play. We're going to pay you. We need you to get meaningful reps in practice. We need you to be ready to go in the event these young guys can't get it done for us, right? So, and that's my thought process. And hey, coach these guys up to the best you can, be a leader in the locker room, and the opportunity may present itself where we need you to go, like where we need you to run because Cam can't get it done or something like that. But that's what I like to see from the Dolphins. And I know they're gonna probably make a move at corner because that's just in their nature, right? Like, there's one thing for certain: we're gonna grab a veteran corner, an experienced guy, um, and like we're gonna typically have some struggles on the offensive line in terms of health and being healthy across the board. So that's what I like to see, and let's see how they work this thing out, man.
So with the way that the schedule is set up, what do you see the ceiling and the floor?
So with the Dolphins, bro, I'm typically the same place every year. Like I mean, I don't typically waver a lot in terms of like schedule prediction and stuff like that. Like the Miami Dolphins could be a 12-win team, right? If everything goes well and they're healthy and things work themselves out, they're definitely a 12-win team, right? Now, if they cannot get it done and they have injuries, they'll be somewhere between 8 and 9, 8 and 9 wins, right? But I think the floor is an 8-win team, and I think the ceiling is, a 12-win team.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with that. I mean, I think them first 7 8 games is going to say a lot. I mean, either we're gonna jump out the gate and play well, or the season can go downhill real quick because obviously we got them. If we start out slow, those 3 games against Buffalo, Baltimore, and Washington, they're going to be rough on us.
Yeah, I can see that being the case. I mean, we're gonna have to sneak up and win a game that people don't expect us to win, and we're gonna have to kind of beat everybody that we should beat. Like that should be the given. Like, don't drop a terrible game to a Carolina Panthers or some shit like that. And that may
Yeah.
happen. That may happen once during the season. I don't want to see it happen 2 or 3 times. And you need to beat some teams that people don't expect you to beat. Like, you need to beat a Baltimore, you need to beat a Buffalo. Maybe you don't beat Baltimore, maybe you beat Cincinnati or something like that. Like, there's gonna be some times like that too. And that's typically how we operate. Like, we usually are gonna beat a team that we don't expect to beat, and we're gonna lose to a team that we typically shouldn't lose to. And I think that's honestly the parity in the NFL. The NFL is just like that. It's just like any given week, and it's who can stay healthy and like keep getting better as the season goes on. And typically, that's where the Miami Dolphins have fell short. Down the stretch, we've just been chumps down the stretch, and that's what's kind of bothered me about this damn team.
Yeah, they're
And that has a lot
definitely.
to do with Tua too. Like, his ass got to stay healthy, so that's part of it. Hey, I'm
Oh
about to
yeah,
go
I
to
mean,
the car wash. I'm gonna be on mute for a second.
all right.
All right,
Yeah,
bro.
I mean, obviously, if Tua can't stay healthy, this team is gonna struggle. I don't care that we brought in Zach Wilson, and maybe Zach Wilson plays better than what our backups did last year. I don't think you can be any worse than what Skylar Thompson was last year, but we're not gonna be a very good football team with a backup quarterback. This offense is tailor suited for Tua Tagovailoa, and Tua has a distinct skill set, and that's how this offense runs like a well-oiled machine is through Tua's skill set. And I think that we could have a promising season, but we do have to address the defensive backs. And Chris Greer seems real calm about the defensive backs, acting like he's not stressing it, but we've seen that before from Chris Greer, not stressing the offensive line, and we've seen how that's turned out. I would like to add another depth piece on the offensive line, sign another veteran, because we're one injury away from Liam Eichenberg being in that starting lineup. Um, but yeah, I think we could have a top 5, top 10 offense. I think we could score anywhere between 25 to 28 points a game. In most games, that's going to be enough offense for you to win. I think with our pass rush and our ability to stop the run with our big physical defensive tackles, I think I think teams are going to have to pass the ball to beat us. And I think having a good pass rush and a good defensive line definitely helps the corners out so they don't have to cover as long, because we're going to get pressure on the quarterback. It's just we got to get some capable guys in the building. And hopefully a Storm Duck steps up. Hopefully, Marshall, is a diamond in the rough, a 5th-round pick that can come in and start. I just, they're very few and in between finding those late round corners that can come in and start immediately. So a lot of question marks. I agree with CB when he says, you got to give these guys all the opportunities in preseason to go out there and show us what they can do. Show us what they can do.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. And that's what preseason is for, man. Give these guys the reps. Um, we need some of these young guys to emerge as players, bro. Like the Miami Dolphins need to do a better job of putting young guys on the field and coaching them up. And like that's gonna be on Weaver, that's gonna be on Mike McDaniels as to like how you approach it. But you gotta find a way to get some young guys like playing good football. Like you can't be relying on these 15, 20-year vets in the NFL, bro. Like their bodies are breaking down. Like you need to get young guys playing well or you're just going to struggle. Like you got to find some young talent, some diamonds in the rough and develop those guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right,
Yeah,
I'm
man,
about to
but
get up out of here.
bro, I appreciate you having me. Hey, I'm gonna do something soon. I've been bullshitting, but we'll make it
Yeah,
happen. Something
once
soon,
a
bro.
week we got to get something going. You know what I mean? Once a week.
I got you, bro. We're gonna make it happen, man. All right.
I appreciate you, brother.
All right, appreciate you, man. Later.
Thank you. Peace. The great CB83. Hopefully he stops BSing me and we can get some programming out there. I love it. I see you guys going back and forth about that Philly team. Listen, the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, do I think he's a better quarterback than Tua Tagovailoa? No, they're different quarterbacks. Tua's a better thrower of the football. Jalen's a better athlete. The Philadelphia Eagles team is built very soundly. They built that team perfectly. They built that team where, they can lose a star defensive tackle to free agency, but they got the next guy in line already on the team ready to go. Howie Rossman has done a great job with that Philadelphia Eagles team. They are a beast up front. They're on both sides of the ball. Offensive line, one of the top 5 in all of football. Defensive line, probably the best in all of football. They were able to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes consistently, rushing 4 players. They didn't have to blitz at all in the Super Bowl. The Philadelphia Eagles are the perfect example how you want to build your football team. And, look what a good offensive line does for a player. Saquon Barkley, we all knew he was talented, but with the New York Giants, he struggled. You put him over with a good offensive line, he rushes for 2,000 yards. The Philadelphia Eagles are they're the blueprint. They're the blueprint how to build your football team. But yeah, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to get up out of here. We're going to do a round table tomorrow night. Not a round table, like a free for all. People come join on, talk. What's the word I'm looking for? You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, people are gonna come out tomorrow night, 8:00. Check for it. But open panel. There you go, Jose. Open panel, 8:00 tomorrow night. Be there, be square. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed. And you know what it is. Always, baby. Fins up in this mofo. Till next time. Peace.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me.
Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test, expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second, this life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, that's a blessing, new focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take your redemption, just kill no discretion, your mind is a weapon, 11-11, it's time for progression,
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they're scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try to change, you can say no, free me.
So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race, life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds, they can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life, better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss, just my life and free thoughts.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing